Hello. I do apologize for the long wait, but I am back doing a tier list ranking the VCT teams based on the leaks and rumors we have right now. Today I'll be doing Americas, and then after I'll be doing EMEA, the Pacific, and then China to end it. So let's go. Starting with 100 Thieves, they have made one change, releasing Bang and replacing him with Xander, who played on M80, who placed second in the Americas Ascension Tournament. Now, as a 100 Thieves fan, losing Bang really hurt. He was a really consistent player for us, and he was one of the key pieces for us getting to Champs in 2022 and to Shanghai, really. But if they were to replace him with anybody, I don't think they could have found anyone better. Xander won't have any chemistry issues, seeing that he's been on a team with both EU and Cryo. He frequently duos with Asuna in ranked. He's a previous caller, so he can help out Boostio with like mid-rounding and stuff. And we know he's an absolute beast of a fragger. I really don't see how this couldn't work out for them. I may be biased here, but I'm going to put them at the top of 8 here. Moving on to Cloud9, they have made 2 changes, replacing Rooney and Vanity again with Rossi, who played on T1 last year, and Vic, who was on the Moistex Shopify team in North American Tier 2. This is a bit of a weird one to me. I don't doubt Rossi and Vic as players. Vic especially was individually really good last year, and Rossi does have IGLing experience, but compared to what the other teams look like right now, this is pretty unremarkable, if I'm being honest. Oxy showed a lot of great last year, but nobody else really stepped up to the plate, and I feel like a lot of their wins last year were really fluky. With that being said, I think this may be harsh, but I'm going to go C tier. Moving on to EG, they have also made 2 changes, bringing in Sim from TSM and Ye from Bleed, replacing Jogamo and Apoth. Now, I really liked Sim last year. He's always been this really cracked young prodigy duelist, and it's really nice to see him get a tier 1 slot. As far as Ye goes, he is the exact opposite right now. People are wanting the guy to get good again. Ever since Cloud9 dropped him after lock-in, things haven't been looking up for him since. But people are optimistic because he's trialing on Sentinel, and he looks pretty good. And I have no doubt that Potter can cook up something with this roster. But I kind of have to give the same knock with Cloud9. I don't think, compared to the other rosters we see, that this has the talent on it. I mean, losing Jogamo really hurts, obviously. And even though I do really like Sim, he is unproven at the tier 1 level. And Ye is just trying to beat the washed allegations at this point. I'm going to put them B. I don't know. Maybe it's crazy. I just simply don't know. Moving on to Furia. They have brought in... Well, they haven't announced it yet, but they have brought in Heat and Rafa. Rafa from the Union, then Hero Base. And he'll be rejoining Havoc as he was on the Union before he stepped back for personal reasons, I think. And then you obviously know Heat from that crew team last year that made champs. And they will be replacing Jand and Noswer. I don't know. I have slight questions about the roles, but I have a good feeling about this team. That Stage 2 performance is making me optimistic. There's just some moments that Khalil can look like a god. Havoc heavily improved as the year went on. We obviously know Heat and MW can be really good. I'll put them B tier. Moving on to Kru, they have brought in Adverso and Mazzino to replace Heat and Melser. Adverso's coming from All Knights, who plays 3rd in Ascension, and I think this is a hell of a pickup. I think he led that All Knights team with really young players like Dante really well. And his fragging at that Ascension tournament was really good as well. So I really like this pickup. Mazzino, on the other hand, putting aside the fact that he's a brand risk right now, they're most likely going to put him on a role that he has never really looked good on. If they are putting him on smokes, the only smokes agent he's really looked consistent on is Harbor. And that's not something you play really at all, especially now the Icebox is gone. I don't know, I just feel Mizzino's best fragging numbers were always on that, like, flex initiator role. I don't know. But I don't think this team got too much worse, so I'm going to put them lower A tier. So I was done with this video, right? Got done recording it, was going to finish editing it today, but I wake up to the fact that the tank is going to be joining this team. So I have to redo this now. So Leviatan are bringing in Demon 1 and a tank to replace Ospas and Mizzino. Now, the tank is a really good player, at least on Gentlemate's Ascension run, because last year Gentlemates did not have a very good year. But he was very good on their Ascension run, a big reason why they won Ascension. Demon 1, we know he's a really good player. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt when he was on NRG, because nothing was going right at NRG. And Demon 1 isn't blameless for that. It's just, I'm not going to stop believing in him. I ranked them C before, but I'm going to rank them B right now, just over EG. I still have a lot of questions on how this team's going to mesh, and the fact that this is a Latin American organization and there's one Latin American player is worrying for the region as a whole. But that's what I'm going with. Okay, moving on to Loud. This one's really interesting because on screen here you see they've brought in Vinny to replace Sadak. Vinny was on a team called Red Canids. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who placed second in Split 1 of Brazil Challengers this year. And I don't know much about this guy, so any information you have, I would love to know, like what kind of a player he is. And they've also replaced Les with DG Zin, who you may remember from those Furia teams that made champs in 2022 and doing decently well in Americas in 2023. But there's also rumors that they're going to bring in Sato and Luxo from Glories for DGZin and Tui's. The only problem is neither Sato or Luxo are 18 yet. They turned 18 relatively early this year, so hopefully they do get some playing time. But I think it would be huge for Loud throughout the year because I think they're really good players. I've seen a lot of good from them in Ascension, Luxo especially, and I'm really optimistic that we got to see kind of a return to form for Pankata after spending an entire year on a different role. Kind of excited for this team. I'll put them middle of B tier. Now MIBR is very interesting because I don't know if it's because of that short time where Twitter was banned in Brazil, but I have no idea what this roster is going to look like. There was rumors about them getting Gu from the Union, then turned Hero Base. And there was rumors they were interested in Quick from Furia, then went to Loud to be their duelist. And now there's swirling rumors that they want Ospas. They had a full 5, and now Ospas is on the table. They're going to do everything to get him. And Noswar is floating around in those rumors because Ospas was reportedly really upset about what Lev did to him to get calm. I don't know what this roster is going to look like, but since I don't have a full roster in front of me, I can't rank this team. So by default, I kind of have to put them D tier. NRG, I really like this team. The future is now. They've brought in Mata from MXS and Verno from Oxygen in place of Victor and Crashies. And I'm really optimistic for this team because Mata was statistically the best duelist in North American Challengers last year. And Verno, I've heard nothing but good about the guy. His flexibility is off the charts. His decision making is off the charts. His fragging is insane. Plus you get a full year with Finesse and Psalm. Plus you get Bonkar as your head coach. I think this team could be really, really scary. And I'm going to put them S tier. Alright, Sentinels. This is a bit interesting. Because obviously they got the heartbreaking news that Tens and Sasi would retire. And they replaced them with Nare and Bang. Now, as players, we all know they're really good. Except Sen fans don't seem to like Bang very much. Which, he dropped 31 on your head. But, whatever. The reason why I say this is interesting because they are not one-to-one replacements. Nare relies a lot on his fragging. At least he did last year. Because he's not purely an initiator player. He started as a duelist. And I feel like he's just more aggressive at nature. While Sassy was this passive, supportive initiator. And Bang, I'm not saying he's not a fragger. But he doesn't play in the style that Tens does. He's more of a natural anchor. Which I guess that'd be easier for them to deal with for a replacement Smokes player. But this team's going to look different than people expect. I don't think this team's going to top the charts like everybody's expecting. I'm going to put them A tier. G2. To put it very simply, they replaced Icy with Jogamo. And this is a very good change. We all know this is a very good change. People were worried that Jogamo was too wild and crazy for this structured and slow and passive G2 team. But I felt like that's kind of what they were missing last year. Icy was best in Shanghai when he was taking his own timings and making his own plays. And Jogamo does that all the time. And Jogamo has been in a very structured system before. He won a world champion in one. So I don't really see an issue. I understand where they would come from, but I think they'll be just fine. I'm going to put this S tier. And finally, our recent Ascension winners, 2Game. The reason they are changing their roster is because their Neon player Spike is not 18 yet. So they have to make what is presumably a temporary stand-in and Gobera. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now, I don't know a lot about Gobera, but looking at the stats, he seemed to place really high up there in Brazilian challengers, in ACS, KD, kills per round, and first kills per round especially. I will watch more film on him before the season starts, but I think this is a fine temporary replacement. I think Zap's a hell of a leader. I think Silence is a really good player. And I have faith in this team more than most Ascension teams. I'll put them C tier. So there's a tier list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll try to get to EMEA as soon as I can. Let me know if there's anything you would like me to make a video on. And yeah, that's it for me. I'm outie.